Welcome to another episode of Talking with WIT Kevin and Son. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcasts Network. Through the power of our stories, our mission is to uplift, share our visions, inspire, share our experiences and our perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. Our purpose is very simple. It's all about hope, helping other people every single day. Well, let me tell you, people, we have something very special. Today, armed with a clear vision, we have South Jersey natives, Joe and Carmen Harvey, both successful Black entrepreneurs, happily married for more than 17 years or 17 years, whichever one comes, both determined to write history with their two young daughters, Simone and her youngest sister, Simone and Milan, with a clear vision of their faith, family, achievement, and fun. But let me open this up and paint you a picture. For anyone that has ever seen the movie King Richard, starring Will Smith, I still like him as an actor. I would duck if I was Chris Rock, but I still like him as an actor. It's a story of Venus and Serena Williams, a story of overcoming unsurmountable odds and prevailing expectations laid before them. My guests today, Joe and Carmen Harvey and Simone and Milan, has a story that needs to be told. And you will hear it first here on Talking with Kevin and Son. This, you can say, Father's knows best. This could be hoop dreams, or it could be just living the dream. Welcome to the show, the Harvey family. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Awesome.
How are you?
Thank you, Kevin.
That's good. And thank you for our listeners. I'm going to share a little insight story. This is take 2 of the Harvey story. Last time we recorded in an off hour. I did not have the production crew. Didn't realize someone else was pushing a button for me for record. I had to do it on my own. So today we're all fired up today. And the reason why I'm bringing you the story, because Milan and Simone are two up and coming basketball stars. But, you know, the story goes much deeper than that. Joseph and Carmen, they have a story that needs to be told. Behind every successful young high school, college athlete, there's a mom, dad, or a grandmother that's kind of pushing those buttons to make sure that life can happen and happen as planned and directed. So these are the producers and the directors of the Milan and Simone story. So let me talk to the director first, Mr. Joe Harvey. Then I'll talk to the producer and the heart of the family, Miss Carmen. Joe, welcome. And I see you all the time in the gym. Mm-hmm. And I've known you for over 6 years, and I've watched these young superstars come in. I've watched the family come in, exercising together. And I have not one day sat back and marveled at the relationship you guys have. You know, bar the stereotype of what they think Black families are all about, you guys do not fit the norm. Didn't come from a broken home, had both parents in the house, didn't have to overcome, wait a minute, I'm lying, because I know we all have the same story. Joe, tell me about your upbringing and what motivated you from being the change that is to be today for your two daughters.
Sure. So first, Kevin, thank you for having us. It's our honor to be with you today and to share our story. Before I get into answering your question specifically, I do want to clarify, I am from South Jersey. My wife, Carmen, is from Los Angeles. She's a Los Angeles native. And how we can get into that story, that's a whole nother fun story as well.
All right.
But to answer your question specifically, just growing up, you know, I always felt as though I had a path that was in front of me, and with maybe a little bit more guidance, a little bit more structure, a little bit more encouragement, the path that I was headed was way beyond where I ended up, not where I've ended up, but where I am today. So, you know, by way of that whole process, I wanted to make sure that my kids had the right structure, the right environment for them to chase their dreams, for them to define and understand who they are as people as they grow. And I just want them to get as close to or extend beyond whatever their potential is. both academically, athletically, whatever their desires and passions are. So that was really the motivating factor. And that's something that Carmen and I, when we first met and when we started dating and when we wanted to move forward and get married and have a family, we shared those same, that same idea of raising our kids in an environment where they could just be whatever that is we wanted them to be. So here we are today, and they've chosen a particular path. And you know, Simone is 14 now, Milan is 13, and we're well on our way. We're happy with and couldn't be more proud of them and what they're doing. And we're just here to support them and cheer them on all the way.
All right, Carmen, I know you got a story to be told. Someone influenced you, but how's the West Coast girl ends up with an East Coast boy? How did that happen?
Oh my God, I know. So I was living in Vegas at the time. My family relocated from LA to Las Vegas. And I met Joe. You were on a work trip, and birthday all mixed into one. And so I went out one night with my sister and I met Joe. I met my husband in a club in Vegas. Like, who does that? How do you say that? How does that happen? But it did.
Normally what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but we actually brought it back to Philly.
Are the two girls the reflection of what you brought back from Vegas?
Exactly.
Joe, let me ask you a question, because when I talk about strong Black men, strong Black women, kings and queens, you know, our listeners hear that all the time from our culture, and they wonder where the kings and queens came from. We all are direct examples of where we come from in our environment, or we're all direct examples of how we change our environment. What was your environment growing up, Joe?
So my name is Joe. My mother's name is Betty Joe. She's a native of Florida. Like I mentioned, I was born and raised in South Jersey, and my mom was a woman of principle. She was a woman of hard work. She was a woman of perseverance. And I'm sure you can imagine in her era growing up and growing into her adulthood, she had to persevere quite a bit in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. She had to endure quite a bit. So that perseverance was something that I learned from her. She was a quiet, strong, sturdy example of what a mother can mean and be for their family. And a lot of those qualities and principles, living on principle, trying to do the right thing, trying to work hard, those are things that she instilled upon me. And I try to, you know, share a lot of what I call Betty Joe-isms with my kids and with my family, because she had a lot of wisdom in how she carried herself and the things that drove her to take care of her family. So those are the things that you know were at the center of who I am and part of my identity. I think, you know, once I got to adulthood and was able to take that really strong foundation and then, you know, meet a great partner like my wife, we were able to combine our forces and really sow all those lifelong lessons and principles into being, you know, one dedicated family unit, husband and wife, so that we could support and help each other be the best that we could be as husband and wife. But at the same time, take that same energy and sow it into our children so that we could give them the advantage of having that loving, supportive household unit, family unit that could help them grow into the young women that they're going to be.
All right. I like that. Carmen. Yeah. All right. Milan, Simone, I just want to let you know, this is a woman's world. All right. Nothing ever happens, and don't let anyone ever tell you any different. This is a woman's world. So when you listen to your parents tell their story, and I'm going to ask your mother, you know, to talk about her relationship with her mom, her dad, or whomever raised them. When she talks about, you know, what's important to her, I hope when you guys grow up, the same conversation is reflected when you're looking in the eyes of your child. When you talk about your faith, importance of family, importance of community, achievement, and then if nothing else, how to live this life and have fun. Carmen, do you want to explain to us where all this comes from? Because we know you are the captain of this ship. All right. We know nothing ever gets done unless it comes through you first. So you are the Postal Service. You are United Airlines. You are the global platform of where the Harvey family prevails. So you want to share a little bit of where this knowledge came from and how you came into your own?
Yeah, so thank you for that. I think for me, it's really about family. I think we really pride ourselves on wanting to keep the girls close together as siblings. I didn't really have that with my siblings. So there's four of us. I'm the oldest. And just growing up, we were close when we were younger, but then as we got older, we kind of started to separate and not be as close and in touch as we used to. One of my siblings did pass away during COVID. This was like 2 years ago. And so I think when that happened, that really kind of like stuck out to all of us. Like we really need to kind of like get back to what we know and our family and being close together and showing that for our girls as well. My mom is Black, my dad is Puerto Rican. So I have family all over, my gosh, everywhere. And we just kind of reconnected with them as well. So really just trying to get back to family on both sides of our family. My dad is no longer living, so he passed away several years ago. So it's just another reason why we want to just focus on family and keeping them close together as sisters.
All right. And to our listeners, I'm going to explain to you the reason why I did this interview. There's two reasons. One, these are two talented young ladies that just happen to be gifted with basketball. The other thing is I've been so impressed by Joe and his relationship with his wife, and we've got a backstory going on. When I started my podcast, Talking Wit, Kevin and Son, I wanted to overcome the stereotype of what most people think Black families or the Black unit was all about. You know, this is a man that has stepped up and stayed true to his vows and his commitment to family. He has overcome adversities versus what was taught to him versus what's caught. And he is now creating a legacy. And now the outcome of that legacy is his two shining stars in their family. When I talk about hoop dreams or just a dream, or living this life, I'm talking about the youngest, Simone Milan, and her big sister, Simone. These two young ladies will talk about the school that they attend, but this is going to be the first time that both of these young ladies will get an opportunity to play basketball together on the same court. And if you ever look at their Instagram account, and I'll give you that information later, you see both of them breaking their legs and ankles on boys, doing it up. So let me introduce you to, I'll start with the youngest. How you doing, Milan?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
All right. Basketball. Why basketball?
Well, first we started. My favorite sport used to be football, because we played on a flag football team together. My dad coached, and I don't know. After that, we just started playing basketball, and I just started liking it more than football.
All right, Simone. Why basketball? Girls basketball. You started playing with boys. I've seen some video you playing with boys.
Yeah, so we have a summer league that we play in. It's called Papa, and it's co-ed, and we just like to play in that over the summers. But our basketball journey started when I was around 6 or 7, I think, and we played at the YMCA. And were you the coach? Yeah, you were the coach. And we played then. We kind of like left from that for a little bit. We played soccer and football. And then we went back to basketball when I was in like 4th grade, I think. And it started to get more serious, and I just started loving it more.
But you two have gotten to a level that you are traveling around the country, playing in leagues. You have been showcased in the East Coast, in the South, you name it, you've been there. You go to a very prestigious private school here in Philadelphia, you got a full scholarship. And, you know, when I talk about Venus and Serena Williams, and I talk about the Williams family, I think in the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to be talking about the Harvey family and seeing this. I don't know how far you guys want to go, with your basketball dreams, but you guys have a gift. Simone, when you listen to your parents talk about this story, how does that make you feel?
Well, they always talk about it, their stories a lot. And they always talk about like the golden rule, just treating others how you want to be treated and different stuff that they learn from their childhood and try to like instill it into us. And I just like try to take that in.
All right. And Money Milan. Where did Money Milan come from?
I-
Mr. Charles,
yeah,
football.
Football.
when we were playing football, I played the running back, Simone played the quarterback. And I don't know, like whenever I score a touchdown, he goes like money, money, money.
That's all right. And your big sister was a quarterback?
Yeah.
So you guys being on the same basketball court this year is going to be nothing new, right?
Yep. This year? Well, next school year, but
Next school year.
They played together when they were younger, but now that they're in AAU, they're separated by age groups. Once you get to the high levels of competition. So Milan plays for the 13U team, and Simone's going to play for 16U this year. This upcoming AAU season. But Simone will be going into 9th grade, and Milan will be going into 8th grade, and she'll be able to play up and play high school varsity with her sister, like Simone played high school varsity as an 8th grader this year.
All right. Milan, is basketball your passion?
Yes.
You sure? Because I think we talked about some cooking stuff.
I mean, basketball is number one for me, but definitely, cooking is a passion for me.
All right. And Simone, what's your passion?
I would say it was also basketball. I'm still trying to like find different stuff that I like to do like outside of basketball and school. So yeah, basketball.
Are you watching the Women's March Madness?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite player?
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark. Oh, she was lights out the other night.
Yeah.
Why Caitlin Clark?
I just like her game and her confidence.
What about you, Milan?
Either Aaliyah Boston or Angel Reese from LSU in South Carolina.
All right. I'm going to ask you both to look fast forward. If you had to play in the WNBA today, and you had to have one person as your teammate, who would you like to play with and why? It could be college too. I'm fine with that.
Well, if I were to choose someone, I would choose a coach, and it'll be Dawn Staley for South Carolina. I just like her coaching style and the way that she like brings her team, her team, her players.
You just know Coach Staley is sitting there doing, the happy dance, which she just heard that you chose her to play one-on-one with, because she's like recruiting the best of the best. She just became the highest paid coach for women in history right now. She just made history, and she's a local girl from here from PA, went to Temple. So someone's probably going to give you a call. Money Milan, who would you like to play with?
Probably one of the players that I said was my favorite, probably Aaliyah Boston, because I just like her game. She's like a dominant player, and yeah.
All right, and I'll ask all four of you this. Milan, what's your favorite basketball moment?
Probably when I was on a team called Harlem USA, and we went down to Louisville for a tournament, and we won the national championship as a team.
And Simone, what was your favorite basketball moment? Go ahead, Dad. Whisper in her ear.
It was 2 years ago, I think. We were playing in the Papa, the co-ed boys and girls league, and we won the championship actually. And I ended up winning MVP, and I was the first woman to win MVP. And I don't remember how long it was, but it was the first in a while. Ever? I
Yeah,
thought it was
first ever.
Oh,
First female to win league MVP. And her sister actually won MVP. So she was the second to do it this past summer. That was a very cool one.
Yeah, congratulations to the two of you. Now I'm going to give a reality check. You guys go to a very prestigious high school. I give my hats off to Deion Sanders for putting the spotlight on Black colleges throughout the world. ESPN for recognizing that there's talent beyond the Big Ten or whatever the number is. I said really early on in my career, if we directed all of our academic and talented athletes to go to historically Black colleges or university, the landscape of education and sports would change. You two belong to, I got a scholarship to a very prestigious school here on the East Coast. I'll let you guys talk about this. So it means that I'm almost 99% sure that there's not a lot of kids that walk the hallway that looks like you. Can you share your experience? Well, let me back up. Let me talk to your parents. Why did you send your kids from a public school to a private school? How did that all happen?
So we were surprised when we learned that a lot of the top female basketball players in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade were being recruited to attend some of the top prep schools in the country. And once we learned that, we had some relationships that connected us to a few schools. They had an interest. We went through the application process. We did some research. And surprisingly, Kevin, these schools are very unique places. They actually have better diversity numbers than some of the public schools. For instance, the school that they attend has a better diversity number in terms of just student population than the public school system here in Chester County that they attended prior to going to the prep school. And they also have a better teacher diversity and administration diversity ratio as well. But once we learned more about some of these schools and what they offer, it was an amazing opportunity for them to grow, to develop, and to meet and to expand all their options. Truly the sky is the limit in terms of if they want to explore a particular passion, them connected to this school and the coursework and curriculum allows them to explore those desires, those thoughts, those dreams. They can try different things. And so far, our experience and our expectations as parents has been met and then some. So I'll let them speak to their own individual experience, but I can tell you it's been a great experience for us, and we're happy to have them in the situation that they're in.
And Carmen, before I get to the girls, did you have any concerns?
No concerns. No, I think I knew on our first tour. I said it, I knew it. There was just an energy about the school, everyone we met. And then their just interest in the girls and just making them feel comfortable every time we went to visit the school, right? Yeah, I mean, they haven't even finished a full year. They're like halfway through the year. We've had second trimester conferences for both of them, and they are doing amazing. They're adjusting to the school very well. They have much more friends than they did from the first trimester. And their grades are through the roof. I mean, they're A's and a couple B's, maybe not even that. So they're really doing great. We're really happy that we made that switch.
All right. So Milan, Simone, I'm going to ask you a question. It's a little bit deep. It's a little different from the first conversation. There's a lot going on in this world. There's not a day that goes by there's not something, there's more negative about the Black culture, Black people in general. And as far as diversity, inclusion, and so forth, the conversation that adults are having, how is it received and how is it communicated amongst you and your peers at school, and how are you dealing with that? or do you have to explain what's going on? Simone?
So in our school, we actually just had like in our past subject that we just learned about, we just went through like the whole entire like slavery, discrimination, going up to like right about 1970. And we just like went through that whole process and what people had to go through, and just having people having respect for the other people of color in the class that had to have ancestors or people that had to deal with that. Is just people are very respectful about it in our school.
Milan, do you feel welcome at the school?
Yes, definitely. Every time, well, since the beginning of the year, I always felt included. Everybody's been nice to me.
All right. So let me lighten this up again. All right. So we got deep, got off a little bit. So I wanted to ask that question. And the reason why I asked that question is because that's a question that always comes up. We want to know, the parents always have a good idea, but the kids have to live that experience. And so I wanted to have your children go ahead and talk about the experience. I'm glad it's positive.
Kevin, before you go, let me add this, right? Because as parents, when we thought about the option and the idea of them changing schools, as parents, we have ideas, we have thoughts around how we think that will benefit our kids, right? However, it has to be a mutual, everybody has some skin in the game. And as we went through the process of evaluating a school, the application process, the interview process, we purposely actively made both Simone and Milan part of that process, because while we may have wanted it and thought it was best, they're the ones that have to live it and have to figure it out and have to work through the transition and make new friends and go through that whole process. So we wanted them to have an invested part of that decision-making process. So just wanted to point out that they were part of that. And I think that was an important piece that allowed them to land on their feet and to go through that transition process, because they had a vested interest and it was something that they desired to do, not just something that we as parents told them that they needed to do.
That's good to hear. And thank you for bringing that up. What's the name of the school you guys attend again?
Agnes Irwin.
Okay, in Pennsylvania. Quick question, because people are going to want to know how to get in touch with you. And I'm going to ask mom and dad, if someone wants to reach out to the Harvey family and talk about it, set up an interview, write a book about you, do a movie about you, whatever, how do they get in touch with you?
So my Instagram is at Simone Skills Harvey. It's
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's spelled with, so skills is spelled SKILL with a Z instead of a S.
All right, and repeat that one more time because I interrupted.
Simone Skills Harvey with a Z.
All right, Milan, how do they get in touch with you?
Mine is at Money Milan Harvey.
At Money Milan Harvey. Carmen, how do they get in touch with you? If your husband gives you one set from.
Yes, if you want to get in touch, it's you can find us on Instagram at Bushtown_original. BUSHTOWN_original.
All right. So this is my kids make light of little innuendos I say all the time. So Carmen, and I'm going to include Carmen in this also. My parents used to say, when I was your age, you know, I used to do this, or your father wasn't a glassmaker. Eat all your vegetables, it builds strong character. Carmen, what's a Joe-ism? What does he say around the house that you just kind of like cracks you up?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Hold on. What does he say? No, I can't think
There's
of
so many, but
anything.
you can't think of it on the spot.
Well, there's always the one, right? The golden rule.
The golden rule. Yeah, the golden rule.
Which is?
Treat others how you want to be treated.
That's correct.
All right. What's the one things, Simone, that your mom or dad says, you go, what? They're little innuendos. Is there one of them?
I will
can't think of
share
one.
one from Grandmom Harvey.
Go ahead.
It's always been one of my favorites. And anytime you do something unwise or not the smartest decision, my mom would always say, use your head for something better than a hat rack.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
yes.
Mhm.
Use your
like
head for something better. In other words, use your head. Don't
Yeah.
just let your head sit up there and not use it. Think, make good choices, use your head, and don't just have it just sit on top.
All right. I know when I was putting this together, I wrote down something I wanted to say that, and I always thought very highly of your parents. And I wrote down when a man has stepped up to the challenge of raising his children to be the king and bring a queen, someone who rises above the negative stereotypes, above being a Black father. He is a king, and the queen is the owner of every right that he has. A parent shows their love by providing, they protect, they build a strong foundation based on trust, faith, and a gift that creates a legacy. You know, those are words that when I talk about your parents, that I'm going to dote over them all day long. As far as parents doing the right thing, stepping up and overcoming and dealing with life, especially living in our little town of Phoenixville, your parents are ideal examples of what a creation of a legacy is, providing you with an opportunity in order for you to have a fair chance at life. And the other thing is just being good examples of people. Finding 1,000 words to be kind to someone is something I've adapted in part of my conversation, and hope that both Simone and Milan adapt at least part of what was said here on this interview and look back at their parents and show it to your grandkids and your children and your children's children, and this is what my mom and dad was all about. This is the reason why we do this and whatever. But as examples of young academic scholars, because you guys are killing it academic wise, but also as superstars in the coming. Simone, if you were to talk to another 14-year-old girl that didn't have both parents in the house, didn't have a mom or dad, was not provided with the same opportunity that you guys are privileged to, but had the potential and the dream, what would you tell her now?
Stay determined and keep 100% effort with everything you do, because eventually whatever you want, it'll come to you.
Money Simone. All right. If you had an opportunity to hold the hand of another child that didn't have hope, what would you say to her to give her hope?
If they have a passion, like work hard at it and always believe in yourself and work hard in it.
You want to repeat that and speak up a little louder? I lost some of that.
Yeah. If you have a passion, you just work hard at it and believe in everything that you do.
All right. Mr. and Mrs. Harvey,
Mhm.
if you had one ask and that one ask could come true. Now you guys can answer this together or as individuals. And Joe, I'm going to ask you first.
Mhm.
I'm a Southern boy. I'm supposed to ask your wife, but I know she's going to go much deeper than most of us. So I'm going to ask you first. What would your ask be?
You know, it's not going to be material. It's just going to be for us to stay together as we go through this journey, just for us to stay connected, for us to support one another, to be each other's biggest cheerleaders as we navigate this journey that we're on. You know, Simone's going into 9th grade. She'll be in high school this year, and Milan will be in 8th grade. So there's still some time in front of us. But it's just important for me that we stay together, that we continue down this journey, and we continue to support each other and be each other's biggest cheerleaders through that whole process. And, you know, from now through young adulthood, you know, through their college and beyond into adulthood, just to support and love one with authenticity.
Mrs. Carmen Harvey, if you had that one ask for your family, your husband, for their future, that one dream that could come true. And the reason why I ask this, because it's different. Our show is a little bit different. The people that follow us, we don't look for millions of people that follow us, that likes or whatever. We have a strong sense of a community that they don't drive by an accident. They stop to help. So when you ask this, remember, there's going to be someone out there that says, look, I'm going to reach out to this family and make this dream come true. I've had 4 people since I've been doing this, and I'm going into my 2nd year, that someone from our audience that subscribes, that follows RMK Production, has changed the direction or someone's life on this show. So make your ask big, ASK.
I would probably say definitely going into this year and getting our basketball schedule really has put taken away our vacations that we usually plan around this time. So we had to put that on the back burner and just really focus on basketball and the training. And those expenses are really, really expensive, especially now. So if there was an ask, I would probably say being able to have a nice family vacation at the end of the year after a crazy busy basketball summer that's about to come up.
So just in light of that, share real quick, Simone, about your travel schedule for the upcoming spring and summer. Where you guys headed?
So pretty soon we have to go down to Virginia, Hampton, Virginia. We have to go to Alabama. Where else? Wildwood, Atlanta. Where else?
Chicago.
Chicago. Is that it?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, that one's coming up soon.
So as you can see, between April, May, June, and July, we've probably got 6 or 7 trips that are,
Big trips.
Yeah, not local, not down the street, but some airplane travel involved, that type of thing. So, to Carmen's point, if we, it would be a blessing to have some family time at the end of all of that in August or whatever, for us to just take a family trip and decompress and just have some time together that's just about us and not the pressures of performance and sports and everything else.
Well, let me put this out there to my audience. All right. Being a parent, single parent, is hard. Being a part of a family unit is even harder. Mom and dad make a great sacrifice in order for their kids to have the life that they have and to be able to live out their dream. So I'm going to reach out to my audience, and I'm going to say, if you're in a position, be it travel agent, be it hotel accommodations, be it whatever, sponsorship and whatever, this is an exceptional family. They live in a nice home. They're not rich. These are people that get up every day and they work and they grind and whatever to provide. They are people that give back to their community. They are people of service and good faith. If you are in a position to make at least 4 or 5 days through their travel convenient and comfortable, so mom and dad can exhale, the girls can reflect and look back and saying, mom and dad, one day this is all going to be worth it. We ask you to reach out to RMK Productions and Network and follow and subscribe. Like I said, we don't look for people just like or whatever. We look for people that have a higher call to action. And if you are interested in this family, again, Joe, how do they reach you?
Bushtown _original on Instagram. That's BUSHTOWN_original. And that's on IG. And Kevin, we, without a doubt, appreciate the kind gesture and you making that offer. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
No problem. I thank you. And I thank my listeners for tuning in. We've covered a lot of information. I was hoping to be a lot more funny, but I've never been a comedian. I do want to say this, since I brought up the Will Smith's story. My condolences goes out to his family. He just lost his father. So no matter making light of whatever events have happened, when you lose someone you love, and we love someone that hard, it hurts for everyone. And so when we lose an icon, his father, that's given us so much, because we've enjoyed Will Smith and his family. So my condolences goes out to them. So I'll put that out there. But I am also so proud to know both you and Carmen, to be friends. I'm also so proud to be part of the story of both your young daughters, Simone and Carmen. And I know that one day we're going to be looking at, on national television, in the final four, two sisters, either playing opposite of each other, hopefully be playing on the same team. I know Mrs. Staley is sitting there doing her happy dance and said, I'm going to be following these young girls. I'm going to get both of them. So hopefully that's the case, because hoop dreams, they do come true. So with that said, we've covered a lot of information here. If you like what you've heard, go to RMK Productions and Network and subscribe on our YouTube page. If you like more information, this will be in the show notes. Go to info@rmkproductions.org. And if you'd like to be a guest or share a story like this, because we showcase people you should know, and just happens to be today, the Harvey family, Milan, Simone, Joe, and Queen Carmen are our special, very special guests, and we appreciate you so much. Any closing remarks? You guys like anything I missed? Go ahead.
Two things. Number one, a happy born day to Milan.
All right.
His birthday is March 29th. So
Wednesday.
this coming Wednesday, in just a day, 2 days, Milan will celebrate birthday number
13.
13.
Milan, I am going to be the first person to sing happy birthday to you. I'm going to get ahead of your parents.
There you go.
All right, here it goes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Milan. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
Right.
All right,
Thank
Kevin.
you.
Right.
So you
All
might
right.
have to sing a little bit.
Right. I can hold my own. So with that said, to my guests, my listeners, we thank you. As my grandfather always told me, he says, when you get to a point where you can help someone else, he said it's your duty to do so. Reach one, teach one, and we'll fade the black. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Kevin.
you.
Kevin.